Hey everyone, I'm revealing too much, and over the course of the next however many videos it takes, I'm going to try to tell you as much as I can about 2K and Firaxis' upcoming game, Marvel's Midnight Suns. By the time you're seeing this video, I'll have had about a week with the game, and I have been trying in that week to put as many hours into the game as I can, which is tough when you have other responsibilities. But what I wanted to do is be able to give you honest impressions, thoughts, feedback, and hopefully help you answer the question, should I pick up this game when it comes out? Since that is part of the topic, I do want to say right up front that I was given a code for this game. I didn't have to pay for it, but I do try to approach this topic with the knowledge that I can still provide good insight, even if I was given the game for free, because I've had to make decisions on what games I should buy before. And if you think anything like me, maybe my thought process on whether or not this game is worth the money is going to help you. I hope it does. This is going to be a pretty high-level overview look at the game. I'm going to go deeper into a lot of different topics over different videos, so make sure you subscribe and check out my Midnight Suns playlist because that's where all those are going to be. But for this first video, I essentially want to talk about what did I think about the game in general. I have a lot of hours in the game, but I haven't done that many story missions because there's a lot of side stuff that you can do almost immediately. But my general thought, my general feeling about the game is that when I'm not playing it, I can't wait to play more. I think that's a really good sign for a game. Anytime that I'm not playing a game and I want to be playing that game, that's a good thing to me. There are a lot of games that pull me back in because just at a certain point I'm far enough in the story that I might as well keep playing it until I finish it. But I'm not really that far into the story in Midnight Suns, like I said, because there's a lot of side stuff to do. And even knowing that I might log on, put 4 or 5 hours in and only do side missions, I still want to play. The strongest aspect of the game for me definitely is the combat. And you can tell just based on the reputation of Firaxis for making games like XCOM, all of the love that was put into the combat. The combat is... It's not like anything I've ever really played before, but it is amazing. It is strategic and it's tactical and it's exciting and it's tense. And it feels weird to say that about something that's so turn-based because you'd think it would feel slow, but it absolutely doesn't. As someone who's used to action games as I am, the game feels like action even though you and your opponents are taking turns, because there is so much that your heroes can do on each turn that it just feels good. Even if you're out of card plays, there might still be something you can do to attack that could completely change the landscape of the battlefield. I don't know if you can tell from how I'm talking about it, but I was a little unsure in a previous video if the combat was going to connect with me. And I was going to play the game regardless because it's a Marvel game and I play Marvel games. But I was unsure if I was going to like the strategy, the tactical aspect, and I think I'm hooked on it, honestly. I can see myself going back and playing the XCOM games now specifically because of this game, because this is so much fun. The combat is, in my opinion, so good that it almost overshadows the RPG aspects of the game.
Hunter, I was just looking for you. We need your assistance.
Who is we?
The Esoteric Mystical Order, specifically the Knights of Intellect and Dimensional Spiritualism.
That is an elaborate name.
You can blame Doctor Strange. Oh, I may have rearranged a few words so it spells out emo kids.
Don't get me wrong, there is a lot to do RPG-wise. Exploration, different clubs you can join, different ways to increase friendship with heroes, all of these different things. They're not bad, but what I found pretty consistently in my time is that when I was doing those elements of the game, I was pretty eager to get back into combat. I should say that I'm not going to stop doing any of the RPG elements because I have seen already in my relatively little amount of time in the game, which is to say, like, it's a big game and I've only been playing it for a few days at this point, and I have already seen in that time the effect on combat that you get from putting in the time with those RPG elements. So I'm not going to stop doing any of those, but for me, the combat is where it's at. If you're thinking about picking up the game and you're not sure about the combat, I guess I don't know how to convince you exactly, but I was right where you are. I mean, I knew I was going to play it anyway, but I was where you are and I wasn't sure if the combat was going to be right. And to me, it's so much better than what I could have expected. I think of the RPG elements and the exploration elements and all of those other things as kind of the icing on top of the cake rather than the main part of the game for me. The main part of the game is, I think, probably, unless something changes drastically, always going to be getting into those combat scenarios with my favorite heroes and figuring out what kind of combinations I can do with my different abilities to make something awesome happen. I was a little bit surprised to see right at the beginning of the game that when you're creating your hunter, you don't have nearly as many customization options as I would have expected. It's long been advertised that this is the first Marvel game where you get to make a Marvel hero. You get to make your own character. And with all of that advertisement, I did expect a little bit more ability to make my hero look the way I wanted, but at least with the default cosmetic options, there just weren't too many combinations. I still managed to make a character that I'm happy with, but I did expect to have more hairstyles and more ability to dial in exactly how the character looks than I had. I do also worry a little bit that the friendship aspect in the game is going to encourage players to choose the response they think they have to in order to increase friendship with whatever that hero is, rather than the response they want to choose, which can feel a little bit limiting at times. It's not bad enough that I'm overly concerned about it, but I do find myself going into each conversation with every hero going, I wonder what I can say to increase my friendship with that hero, rather than actually role-playing as the hunter and saying what I would think my hunter would say in that moment. Now that's a lot of words, and I hope they've been helpful. What I've taken away from the game so far is that there is a ton to do. Everything you do advances the power of your team and your heroes in one way or another, so it's pretty much all worth doing. And the combat is just so fun that I can't get enough of it. Like I said at the beginning, we're going to get a lot more in-depth with different topics over the series of videos, so I'd love to see you back for those. Thank you so much for watching this one, and I'll see you next time.